Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be looking at He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection Beastman by Mattel. Previously I already made a review for cartoon collection He-Man and cartoon collection Skeletor, so if you're interested in those and you haven't seen them, go check them out. I'll leave a link for those reviews in the description of this video, but today we are taking a look at our Beastman here. This is a figure that I have a special connection to, and not specifically this new figure, and let me shortly explain why. Back when I was a kid in the late 80s and early 90s, I adored that Filmation show, and I had a lot of Masters of the Universe original toys, and then I remember to this day that one night I was dreaming about having Beastman figure, and this is when I was a kid, of course. That dream was so real to me that when I woke up, I ran up to the living room to look for this figure on the shelf, because, as I said, that dream was so real that I felt like I really have this figure. And you can imagine the disappointment that I had when I found out that it was all a dream. And I can't say why it was specifically Beastman and not some other character. Maybe it's because of the colors, because this guy has nice, vibrant, warm colors. I don't know, maybe that's the thing. But who would have thought that all these years later I will finally be able to get a Beastman, and not just any Beastman, but a Beastman as how he looked in that original Filmation show, or at least something that is close enough to that look. So that is my connection to this character and to this action figure. And before we open up the packaging, we can see that it's a standard packaging for all of these cartoon Filmation collection. We get a comic, we can see the figure with the accessory, the logo, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Beastman, Castle Grayskull in the background, and on the back of the packaging we have a nice illustration up here showing off one of the accessories that comes with this guy. And then here we see the 4 figures that are part of this first wave. Legally is down here, so that's all for the packaging. Let's now open it up and let's take a look at the figure. So here is our Beastman out of the packaging, and I love how this figure turned out. Let me first get just this one thing out of the way. The colors, although are bright, they are not identical to how he looked in the original cartoon. The face should be much lighter color than the rest of his fur body. This orange should be even stronger and the face should be brighter. So that is probably the only issue with this figure, but the rest of it is just fantastic. I love it. The overall look is great. The proportions are great. I said it before, it's the same body that all of these cartoon collection figures use, so they are all the same height. Here is the side of the figure, here is the back, and now let's take a closer look at the details. The head sculpt looks beautiful. The eyebrows and then the eyes are really well painted. The teeth are looking great, and even the ears, everything is done beautifully. Only the paint should be a bit different, but it's not a huge deal. This overlay piece is nicely sculpted with all of these wrinkles here. It's hollow here in the back. That's the way that they designed it. His back should go up here as well. This should all be filled in, but again they are using the same body, so those shortcuts needed to be made. The sculpt looks good, the muscles are nicely sculpted, and then the arms with these pieces that are made out of softer plastic, the gauntlets and hands, and then the belt and the crotch piece with sculpted lines in it. The legs, I mean, we saw it in previous reviews, so it's all the same. The boots are different. They are specifically made for Beastman and they are looking good. Even here on the feet we have some of these sculpted lines, sculpted details, so that is great. Yeah, I mean, overall this figure looks really good. Now let's take a look at his accessories. Same as all the previous figures, this guy comes with this piece of paper that shows you the parts of the body that are removable and that can be interchanged with all the other figures, if that's something that you want to do. And then he comes with a mini comic. It's the same mini comic that we got with He-Man, and I said it before, this is a European release, European version, which for some reason doesn't have the title and doesn't have text bubbles in it at all. So you are following the story or reading the comic by simply looking at the pictures. For some reason that is unknown to me. And then here in the back we can see all 4 figures that are part of this first wave. He comes with this mechanical weapon, and the sculpt is nice. There are some sculpted details on it, like the handles and these parts here, but for the most part it's fairly simple, and it's molded in this one gray color, so it's all one piece. And then of course he comes with his whip, and this is standard. All Beastman figures are coming with this type of accessory. I'm not a huge fan of this. I feel like they could do a bit better sculpt for this accessory, but it is what it is, and if this was wired it would be even better, but unfortunately it's not. So it's a fairly simple accessory, no details on the handle, and then you get this thread. So yeah, that's all that you get with this Beastman. Now let's take a look at his articulation. The articulation is the same as on the previous releases. It's what you expect. So we get a head that is on a ball joint, and on this guy the head is kind of loose. I don't know why. I didn't have that issue with He-Man and Skeletor. He can look down just slightly, up just a little bit. We get some side-to-side tilt, and the head can rotate 360. There is no butterfly joint. Arms move out all the way. They rotate 360. We have a swivel in the elbow, and the elbow bends this much. There is a swivel in the wrist and in and out hinge, and it's like that on both hands. We have a cut in the torso down here, and that gives us side-to-side rotation, no tilt, and no crunching forward or backwards. Legs move out all the way. They move forward this much, back this much. We have a swivel in the knee, single bend that gives us this much. There is a boot cut, and then feet move forward this much, back this much. We have a nice ankle pivot and pec holes at the bottom of his feet. Let's now compare our Beastman with some other figures. Here he is with the new Eternia version of Beastman and Revelation Skeletor. Here he is with Revelation He-Man and Revelation Man-at-Arms. And finally, here he is with the rest of the figures from this first wave. And with them sharing the same body, they all have the same height, but some of the parts are obviously different. The paint, as you can see, is vibrant. It represents the Filmation style. It's a great representation of the characters as we saw them in that original cartoon show. And so there you go. That was my review of Masters of the Universe Cartoon Collection Beastman. I'm really satisfied with this release. Yeah, there are some of the details that should be painted slightly different, but it's a minor gripe on my part. I still love the way that this guy turned out. For what it is and what it should represent, I feel like it is good enough. So that is what I think, but now I would love to hear what you think. Let me know. What do you think about this Beastman? Is this something that you have in your collection, or do you plan on getting it? Stay tuned for a posing video for this guy. I will try my best to give this Beastman a proper posing video. As always, special thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon, and to all the rest of you guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos and for supporting the channel in that way. Thank you all for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.